On the Hudson River, halfway between Lake Ontario and New York City, is a shipbuilding company run by John and Rick Scarano. They have developed a national reputation for combining the best of old world charm with modern wood construction. John Scarano started the company in 1976. Since he was a kid, he's only ever wanted to design ships.
In my case, it made life kind of simple. I knew where I wanted to go. I didn't quite know how to get there. And I've been lucky enough to have Rick come on board, and since then we found plenty to do for both of us.
Rick officially joined the company when the owner of a tour boat, the Dutch Apple, asked if they can make a larger vessel and make it out of wood.
I think he was sharp enough to realize that wooden boat construction was, if it's done right, it would last and be practical. So we worked out our first certified passenger boat. And the boat is still sailing here on the Hudson River, and that was 1986, so quite some time ago.
And at that point, it became Scarano Boat Building Incorporated.
The Scaranos can build boats out of nearly any material, but they favor wood for a number of reasons.
From an engineering perspective, wood is actually very practical, as Rick says. If it's done properly with the right techniques and the right adhesives, it's a very competitive material. It still works. And we find that it's pretty efficient to put a wood boat together relative to metal boats. I guess you could say it's our favorite material to work with.
A Scarano designed boat is a custom designed boat from the ground up. It's a feat that impresses their clients as well as the men that build them.
It's a pretty crazy feeling, honestly, when you look at it, and I mean, they're huge. It's overwhelming sometimes.
Came from like just 2x4s and 2x6s just built up, and then we built it to what it is now.
But starting out a project with a wire or a laser going down the center of the shop, and in a year you have a completed boat that you're test driving out in the middle of the Hudson River.
To look at the final product, I mean, it's a thrill.
On any given day, there's a flurry of activity happening in the yard. In addition to the large wooden and aluminum passenger ships they're building, they're also servicing a few other large boats. One of these boats is undergoing an extensive overhaul. The owners intend to sail it in the Ocean Globe Race, a challenging 2,700-mile journey around the world. In special circumstances, clients have the opportunity to collaborate closely with Scarano's staff on site to finish their project.
We made a wise decision. We didn't realize how wise at the time to keep the boat here while we renovated it, and assisted by the facilities and skills in the yard. I found them extremely helpful.
It's been said that an organized workshop is a productive workshop. It's the reason why their tool room resembles a hardware store.
That's really what everybody considers to be a store. Even though it really isn't a store, it functions that way for us. 20 some odd years that I've been working on the organization of everything, it takes quite a bit of effort, but it's doable.
From large tour boats to smaller consumer crafts, their nearly half-century's worth of experience designing, constructing, and servicing boats makes them especially adept at providing numerous repair and maintenance services. But the Scarano brothers don't just build and service boats. They also run a fleet of tour boats that operate out of Newport, Boston, Manhattan, and Key West.
In 1999, we decided we were going to open up a little business in New York City. We built Adirondack II for the purpose. I think in New York what we offer is a much more intimate experience than the competition. It's very appealing for folks to be on a much smaller boat that's a lot more comfortable, and you're closer to the water. It's a more intimate relationship with the environment around you, especially on the sailboats. And by the time people get off the boat, they've met a bunch of new friends. It's very different. I just think it's a very different experience.
The boats in their fleet were custom designed to operate in specific locations, as well as for the types of experiences they offer.
What keeps the business kind of challenging and fun for us is that we get to build real sailboats that matter. You know, one of our first trips out sailing with a fairly full boat, you could tell that they just looked kind of nervous, and you could see that in their expression. It was pretty clear that this was new to them. So the first thing that happens on a cruise like that is hoist the sails. The sails kind of flutter and they flag around and make some noise, and the boat powers up, starts to heel over, and it surges ahead, and it becomes alive. When that happened, when the boat got quiet, big smiles on the whole crowd. They loved it.
When the first year we had Adirondack in Newport, I remember sailing past the 12 meters with 49 people on the boat, full capacity, and Watching the people on the old America's Cup boat, I forget which one it was, just a bunch of professional sailors scrambling to keep up with us, and they couldn't. It was just very satisfying to, as John says, have a great big smile on their face when they realize just what the experience is.
As the sun sets on Scarano Shipbuilding, we invite you to visit scaranoboat.com to delve deeper into its rich history, explore its fleet of historic vessels, and learn more about upcoming voyages.